welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton, and today we're going to talk about a special back-to-school program that is for families, not just children, who attend Title I schools. My guest is Synethia White. Welcome.
Good morning, welcome.
This program you like to call S.E.E.D.S, which stands for, I'm not going to try to guess, I'll let you.
It's a mouthful. Strengthening educational experiences to create dynamic students.
So you are really looking to give a big boost to students who attend Title I schools.
Yes.
Now, for the average public who doesn't know what that means the schools have a higher percentage of kids on free and reduced price lunch, lower income kids.
Yes.
Why do they need a boost, Synethia?
One, if you think about it or you look at studies show that summer learning loss and opportunities are reduced. Summer learning losses increase and opportunities to engage are reduced for families who do not have considerable economic means.
So whereas you and I might read to our kids all summer, might take them to museums, might engage them in a lot of things, parents who are maybe working 2 jobs or don't have the economic means might not be doing those things as much.
Right, may not be doing those, but we want to bring their attention to some things that are going on in Hampton that are in close proximity to where they may work or go to school or play or enjoy recreational activities, and then community partners who bring a lot of programs and activities to centers to make it closer and more accessible for families.
So this really, it is partly about getting back to school supplies for kids who maybe can't afford them. That is a piece of it, but it's not even the majority of the day, right?
Right, it's not even the majority of the day. When parents come in the morning, our doors open at all of our locations at 10 o'clock, and they have about an hour to talk with vendors, visit tables, get information, share information with each other, because we learn a great deal from each other.
Absolutely.
And then at 11 o'clock, we start our presentations. Presentations happen at all of the sites. The session topics could be, they range from financial information, typically provided by local financial institutions. They have opportunities to learn about things that are offered at the library. In the past, Healthy Families has been there to share information about their parenting programs and family activities. We'll get information to provide them with after-school programs and opportunities. And also, something that's been really successful in years past is the food bank has come and they have done a cooking demonstration because it is expensive to eat healthy and get fresh foods.
Well, and it's time consuming to cook. You know,
Yes.
I think that's something that people forget, and that busy 2-career families do so much takeout now. They don't always eat healthy. We don't always eat healthy either.
I agree, I'm guilty.
But yes, and especially if you are, working from canned foods or from other things, you might not think necessarily the best and healthiest way to prepare them.
Right, or ways to think outside of the box to make the children want to try them.
Right.
But they come, Jacqueline Linder, the Nutrition Education Director from the food bank, comes and in 30 minutes prepares something with fresh vegetables that are not typically on the expensive end in the grocery store, and all of the parents get to sample them. And they'll get recipe information. In the years past, Cooperative Extension has come and also led activities on ways to eat healthy, and they've worked specifically with the young people to get them excited about trying some new things.
So this, it's about back to school, but it's also just a chance really to get these families who tend to be less engaged, who tend to be busy, who tend to be maybe a little more transient sometimes. So they might be living in a different place than they lived last year. They don't know their neighbors. They don't know the community resources as well.
Right, which is another reason we partner with the neighborhood organizations. And this year, the Neighborhood Commission has co-sponsored this event and has been a great, very, very helpful and provided a great deal of support. And so at each center or each location for this event this year, someone from the neighborhood organization or the commission will be there to share information about what they do in the community and to encourage participation from residents and people who live in that neighborhood.
All right, this is going to sound like a stupid question because you and I know the answer, but why do we need people to engage with their neighborhood organization?
Well, one thing, and switching hats with this, my new position that's changed since we spoke last year, neighborhoods that are safe have neighbors that look out for each other. They have neighbors that communicate And the stronger your neighborhood is, the less likely someone's going to come in and try to do negative things in your neighborhood, because they know that you all are working together to combat those things. And they also know that you won't tolerate it together. That you don't want to live in isolation. So a neighborhood where neighbors know each other, if someone goes out of town, they're checking on them, or just, speaking
Watching
at
the
the
kids
mailbox.
on the school bus, watching
Yes.
out for the other kids after
Yes.
school,
Yes.
if they're playing in the neighborhood.
Yeah. So very, very important. So, after they leave S.E.E.D.S, we want them to go back and talk to the people in their neighborhood or involved, and find ways that they can get involved, or at least let them know what the neighborhood organization is doing to help families and young people.
And as you mentioned, some of these lower income neighborhoods tend to be places with higher crime, not because poor people commit more crimes, but they prey on people. They're less engaged. They aren't watching out as much. It sometimes, attracts people who are going to break the law. So some of them are safe and clean areas. Some of them are places without really engaged neighborhoods. And so trying to build those neighborhoods is much more not about back to school, but about how we live in the community.
Right. And as you know, we are moving to a point where we want everyone in Hampton to be safe, to live somewhere that's safe and clean. We want all of the neighborhoods to be engaged. We want all of the residents to feel, that great sense of pride in their communities. And this is just a minor piece of beginning that legwork to get people to come together and work cooperatively.
Well, there's something about the change of seasons, and back to school represents fall, and we've all slacked off a little bit over the summer, or we're busy, or we've got a lot going on. So it's one of those, resolution moments. It's not quite the new year, but it is for kids, and it is for parents of school-age children to stop and think, how can I do this better? How can I have a better year? How can I help my child have a better year and learn more? And so us as parents changing our behavior a little bit is a piece of that.
Right. And then we don't put out anything that's life-changing. I hate to say that if someone's going to hold that against me.
Oh, no.
But we promote and encourage parents to do the small things that matter. An encouraging word in the morning before they get on the bus makes a difference. For the bus driver, for the student, for the other students on the bus, and then whoever receives the children at school. Taking some time to read, or thinking outside of the box for little ways to engage with their children to keep them focused on learning. Staying in touch with the teacher or the educators and those who have your children during the day, and supporting a loving and nurturing learning environment. And then the importance at home of spending some time together, and taking some time to sincerely ask your children, how was your day? What's going on? Did you read your newsletter? I read your newsletter, and I heard that you guys were going to be doing this great activity on Friday to celebrate Earth Day, or whatever the school is focusing on. It's just the little things. I think that an easy way is I ask my daughter every day is, what did you love? What was your favorite part of today? And she's going to the first grade, so last year most days it was recess. As it should have been for someone in kindergarten.
Sure.
But then we got to talk and have more of a conversation about that. Well, what did you like at recess? Were you running around? Did you guys play a game? Was your teacher leading activity? Do you have a friend that you play in the playground with? And just starting that early, because the more comfortable your kids are speaking to you now, you can continue to develop that. And when they really don't want to talk to you anymore, I'm sure Sanaya will not want to talk to me as much. And 13, 14, I'll probably be bothering her. But at least we've started that early, so that's the status quo. It's not.
Yeah. And it makes it safe. It makes it safe for her or him or whoever your child is to bring things up that you need to hear, but maybe don't want to hear, or it makes it a safe place.
Yes.
And kids need that. Kids need to know that they can tell you stuff.
Right.
So you said 5 locations. So where is this being held?
Y.H. Thomas Community Center.
And that's where it started.
Yes, we started 3 years at Y.H. Thomas, and it's grown every year, and we're pleased about that. This year we're going to be at Old Hampton Community Center, North Vivas Community Center, and then we'll be at 2 elementary schools this year, Bassett Elementary and Forest Elementary.
Okay, and again, if parents out there are hearing this and they're thinking, oh, can I come? It's only if your child is in K through 5 and at a Title I school. So technically, parents should already know if they're eligible to attend.
Right. We sent out, or my partner, Shonda Epps with Hampton City Schools Title I program, She sent out about 6,000 save the dates and postcards about it.
And you need that because you need to
Yes.
make sure there's enough supplies for each kid. And if people just show up, they may not be able to get what they need.
Right. We're prepared to help 500, between 500 and 600 families this year
Holy cow, that's awesome.
at all of our sites. And that does help with planning. Because we'll be stuffing in the central location and then distributing the book
right.
bags everywhere. So we want to make sure we have what we need. Every child is going to walk away with a brand new book bag with supplies on the inside.
I mean, what a help that must be for families because that's expensive.
It
And,
is.
you know, book bags, sometimes you don't need to buy them every year, but a lot of times you do. They get slung and beat up and they just don't last forever.
Right. I agree. And while this is a help and it takes care of the book bags and some of the supplies, you know, we do our best taking the list and looking at items that are common across all of these schools.
Right.
So we won't give you a complete book bag. We can't say that you still won't
It
have
may
to
not
go.
meet your exact classroom requirements.
But it's definitely going to have composition notebooks, subject notebooks, rulers, scissors, crayons, loose leaf paper, a good pack of pencils, a box of tissues. You know, that's pretty much the core of our book bag.
That is wonderful. Now, when I introduced you, I didn't exactly talk about your old title, your new title, but you have moved from being the director at Y.H. Thomas to being the director of Youth Violence Prevention Programs. Did I get all that right?
Yeah, I'm the Youth Violence Prevention Program Manager, yes.
So those really, you know, working with at-risk families, low-income families, really leads to what you're doing now.
Right. And not so, like you mentioned before, not so much the supply portion, but getting engaged with your neighborhood, finding ways to support your student, finding ways to support yourself. If there's information that you need as an adult to help your family, you know, we hope that at S.E.E.D.S you'll be able to find some of that or at least have a starting point. We typically have sessions or opportunities to let students know how to get information from the city's website, the importance of signing up for informational blasts so that you know what's going on in the community.
Absolutely.
And also navigating the school system's website with Connect Ed and all of the different resources there. And we typically provide information in sessions and how to access that information from your smartphone.
And that's good because a lot of people have smartphones. They may not have a full-size computer or internet connectivity, but more and more people have the internet that they take with them.
Yes.
And can get to it. So that's really important. And also to know your child's teacher's phone number. If you don't have internet, you can still call.
Yes.
They may not answer, but they'll return the call. And teachers are very good about staying in touch. And I always have felt like I didn't want to bother them, but they want not to be bothered, but they want parents to be plugged in.
Right. And then little things that all schools look for, even with PTA involvement. PTA has also been a partner with this, or Hampton Council PTA has been a partner with this for the past several years. And the little things that help the schools, the box tops. Last year, my daughter's school needed Capri Suns. And so getting those things together and helping them raise money. You don't have to set foot in the school, but if you support what they're doing to, you know, to build and help them meet their needs so they can do more for your students, it's helpful. Because parents work and schedules don't always permit them to volunteer during the day or get into the classroom. But we just want everybody to know that you can get involved.
Good. Okay. Well, thank you, Synethia. And this is a good reminder also, we need to stay plugged in with our kids. And if you start when they're young, you can continue when they're in middle school and high school and things get a little more critical. And you need to make a safe place. You need to make education important for your kids.
And also letting them know if your children see you get involved in your neighborhood, you know, we have a million opportunities in Hampton for young people to also get engaged in their neighborhood. And so we also want young people to feel safe and connected in their neighborhood. So the information they have is shared from the individuals from the neighborhood organizations and members of the neighborhood commission. You know, we hope that the young people will see that and then again, in turn, want to get involved as they get older as well.
Yeah, and it's important for them to look out too. They have elderly neighbors, they have people they can help, people they can keep an eye on. The more eyes, the better out there.
Yes, I agree. The date, Saturday, August 29th. Doors open at 10 o'clock. Sessions will start at 11, and then at the end of the day, we'll have bounce houses and face painting, balloon animals, and music at every site for families to enjoy time together.
And is lunch provided?
Lunch is provided.
Okay.
Lunch, book bags, activities, giveaways, and then there are also kids zone activities, so the parents have the opportunity to spend a little time apart from their children, and their children will be safe and engaged in activities as well.
And that's good. And as you said, we learn from our peers. It's not just the person leading the workshop, it's the discussion and,
Yes.
and the sharing that goes on that can make a big difference.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Synethia.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching. I hope that if you're eligible for this program, you will call and register. And if you're not eligible and maybe have something that you could donate, it is tax deductible, not to the city. The city is not providing funds for this. It's other funds, but it is a tax deductible contribution to YH Thomas. Thanks for watching.